Hi everybody. This is going to be the first video in a multi-part series that's going to go over Adobe Premiere Rush. In this tutorial, you're going to learn a little bit more about the interface, including how to start a project, an overview of the interface and the terminology that's used, along with the limitations in Adobe Premiere Rush. So let's take a look at the interface. First off, at the top, you're going to see Edit and then Share. Share is mainly going to be used if you guys are trying to export media. And you'll see there's various social media channels as well over here. Where you'll work most of the time is likely going to be in the edit mode. If you go to this plus sign, this is how you can add media. You see you can add titles, media, including pictures, audio files. You can also record a voiceover straight into Adobe Premiere Rush. We also have this icon right here that lets you see everything in your project. This would be extremely useful to know where all your different clips are and other sequences that you may have within the project itself. Next, we have the playback monitor. You'll notice there really is not a preview monitor here. The closest thing you can get to that is down here on your timeline. We also have our editing tools. We have split your clip. We have a duplicate. We have a delete. We also have a function called expand audio. This makes it easier to see the waveforms for the audio. And we'll talk about that a little bit more later. We also have this final tool right here called control tracks. And you see this lets us see different tracks along with visibility, muting and unmuting functions, along with locking or unlocking a track. And finally, to be able to zoom in on your sequence, you see you have a scroll bar right here. If you grab on the circle at the end, you see that it's actually zooming into the timeline. Then if you expand out, you'll notice it gets much smaller. Now let's take a look at other elements of the interface, moving over to the right-hand side. So first up here, you'll see we have the T for title tool. And this is where you could create different graphics. As you see here. We also have transitions. And there's 3 transitions available: cross dissolve, dip to black, and a dip to white. We have color, and this is going to be where you can modify the colors for specific clips that you select. You can also create your own presets, and we'll talk about that a little bit more later on. You can adjust the speed of a clip. As you see here, whichever clip is selected, you can adjust the speed accordingly. And you'll notice that the clip duration will change based on whether or not you speed it up or slow it down. We have an audio tab here, and it has basic functions of adjusting the clip volume, along with advanced functions where it can attempt to balance out sound or reduce background noise. And then finally, we have the crop and rotate tool. And this will allow you to maybe crop certain parts of an image, as seen here. So if I didn't want the size of this image, I could make a crop just like that. You can also scale up and down images. You can rotate them, change the opacity. So there's many things you can do here in Adobe Premiere Rush. Next, I want to talk about the limitations of Adobe Premiere Rush. You can only have up to 4 video tracks. You can only have up to 3 audio tracks. You also cannot leave gaps on the first video track in the sequence. So let me demonstrate that. So I'm going to try to split the clip, and you notice it splits right at the playhead, which is indicated by this blue scroll bar. I'll click on this clip and attempt to delete it, and you notice no gap is going to be left there. Even if I bring it up to another track, as you saw me do there, it still closed the gap. Another limitation is that if you expand the audio tracks, then edits will only be made for one track or another. So as you see here, the audio is expanded as I click this button. So you'll notice if I pull this trim back that it's only trimming the audio and not the video. So be careful about that. Another limitation is that you cannot create keyframes inside of Adobe Premiere Rush, which means you can't move images and other videos on screen in a live way. These are some limitations to the software, but this is a really quick moving software that can allow you to get an edit done in a very quick manner. Stay tuned for the next tutorial.